Good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Mayor and City Council of the City of College Park. I'm Mayor Bianca Motley-Broom. We have a quorum present with council members Karn, Arnold, and Gay. And so at this time, subject to my continuing objections over Ordinance 2024-01 and the omnibus package this body passed the first week of January, I'll call the meeting to order. Our first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe Chaplain Walker is doing our invocation this evening. All right.
Good evening, Mayor and council members and staff and everybody that's here. Let us bow in reverence. O Lord of all, we humble ourselves before you and your universal command to love one another, to enjoy life, and to remember that your holiness is what we feel in the midst of our hearts, motivates us to live with gusto and sincerity, and to have the minds to be able to discern what is needed. Your light, O Lord, is greater than all the stars and the suns. We desire this light, O Lord, to help us become whole persons as well as a community. Assist us, O river of truth, justice, and community. Help us to understand the ultimate meaning for us to have this collaboration of minds and hearts. Help take away the stumbling blocks in our hearts and be aware of the meaning and purpose of having an invocation as part of our civil discord and the actions needed to make our community unite for health, welfare, and for being a good citizen of College Park. We give you thanks for the right and privilege of being here and involved in our civil discussion so that we may work together to have a better living environment in which we can befriend one another and be, in actuality, responsible citizens. We give you thanks for our mayor, our city council persons, as they labor on our behalf. But we also give thanks for all those leaders in our city government and all those who work under their leadership. We have a special thought, O Lord, of our first responders and all those that assist them. May we leave here tonight knowing that we have paid due homage to including the life of the Spirit as part of civil discord. May we leave with more of a sense of the endowment of liberty and justice for all. Help us to leave here, to be glad that we came, to feel fulfilled that we did our citizens' duty. Let us go in peace in the name of faith, hope, and love. Amen.
Amen.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, residents of College Park. As I read the Civility Pledge, please keep an open mind. The way we govern ourselves is often as important as the positions we take. Our collective decisions will be better when differing views have had the opportunity to be fully vetted and considered. All people have the right to be treated with respect, courtesy, and openness. We value all input. We commit to conduct ourselves at all times with civility and courtesy to each other. Anyone desiring to make a comment at the podium this evening, please remember the Civility Pledge when making your comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Do we have any additions, deletions, amendments, or changes to the agenda?
I have a few.
Councilmember?
First thing, the proclamations. Winston, I believe we're going to do yours on the first meeting in December, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're not doing that this evening. Also, I make a motion that we add to the consent agenda item 9C as well as item 9D. City Clerk, as we're adding item 9C, there were some wording corrections that I wanted made in the ordinance that I provided on the piece of paper here. Just some small, slight changes there. So I want to add that to the consent agenda, item 9C and D. Item 9C with the wording corrections.
Would you like those read into the record,
Yes.
the corrections? Okay, on section 859A, line 159, include the city manager as number 6. Section 8106C, line 383, more than 5 fire department responses. Section 8106, line 384, more than 10 code enforcement citations. Section 8-106, line 386, more than 10 calls for police services.
Is there a second?
Second.
Adding an ordinance that we're going to change to the consent agenda with additional wording corrections that we got about 725 seems like a really, really poor way to do policy, because there's not an opportunity for anyone to actually have a conversation about the 21 pages of changes that this would bring. And also putting something on that isn't budgeted also seems like a real issue with using the consent agenda in that format. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
All right, so council members Karn and Gay are in favor. Councilmember Arnold is opposed. The motion passes, and so those 9C and 9D will be moved to the consent agenda.
I did want to make one comment. First of all, this is just an addendum to the current ordinances that we have, number one. There are not 21 pages of changes, actually less than 3 paragraphs of changes total. And second of all, the second item, it is a fully budgeted item. It's in the community enhancement budget.
I didn't see the education and community outreach coordinator in the community enhancement as a line item, so I guess is that from your community enhancement budget?
It's part of our literacy program. That's correct.
I see. Any other additions, deletions, amendments, or changes to the agenda?
Wait, no, I have a question. You said 9D is a part of your community enhancements?
Yes. 9D, yes. Yes.
Okay, so the backup didn't say that, so that's why, okay.
Actually, it did say it in the backup. If you read the document, it said it's part of the budgeted, well, let me pull the item. It's there.
Could you point us to the
Okay,
page?
if it's a part of the community enhancements, then those initiatives that we had budgeted, I just didn't remember seeing it in there.
It's part of the literacy program.
I remember the literacy program, so yes.
Any other additions, deletions, amendments, or changes to the agenda? Hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Got the workshop minutes from November 18th. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. Got the regular session minutes from November 18th. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Any discussion?
I have a couple of corrections.
All right.
Page 98, line 2207. The name is Dakorty. That's Dakorty, not Mccordy. And line 2199, there's a duplicated word highlighted. It's there twice. One just needs to be removed.
And I have that as minutes of November 4th, not November, did we say November 18th or November 4th?
I did say November.
That's what I thought.
I did say November 18th because that is what the agenda said, and I apologize. This is actually from November 4th.
Yeah, unless you had a different set of minutes, it was me.
Madam Clerk, the workshop minutes should be from November 4th, not November 18th. Do we need to take another vote on that? Or can we just move forward with that correction?
Just move forward with the correction.
Okay, all right. So I presume that the motion and the second for the regular session minutes from November 4th would stand for the November 18th one. So is that right? I can't remember who made the motion and the second on this one while we're still discussing it, but.
Arnold made the motion and Gay second.
Okay, all right. Still good with it being November 4th, right? It said November 18th on the.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. Any other changes? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. We're on to remarks of citizens.
The proclamations.
You removed that.
The proclamation. Was
You-
that-
Councilmember
was
Carn removed that.
deleted?
We rescheduled it for the December 2nd meeting so that his family could
Yeah.
make sure that they were able to make it. So
I'm sorry, Councilor Carn, repeat that? It's been removed from the agenda.
we moved the proclamation
To the December.
to the December 2nd meeting so that Mr. Denmark's family would be able to attend.
Correct, but based on the ordinance you all passed, proclamations presented have to be voted on at this meeting and then presented at the first, so it would need to be voted on now.
Okay, well, then we'll vote on it for December 2nd.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Any discussion?
Okay, so we're set for December 2nd. Is that right? Okay.
I'm confused. It's got Winston, Denmark. You getting a proclamation?
On December 2nd.
Huh, you are?
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Just a point of order. Roger, speaking of proclamations at the end of the year, now, you may not know this because this is, I guess it was your first year, but at the end of the year, the mayor pro tem that has served on Biden receives a proclamation at the end of that service, by the way. And that's something that we've done every year. I got 3 or 4 of them, so you can start to play catch up with the rest of us, I guess.
All right.
But I guess we do that at the we usually did it at the last meeting of the year, every year. So we do that every year. Whoever served as mayor pro tem gets a proclamation. Queenie, this predates you, and it predates you as well, Mayor, probably. So that's just something that we've always done. And
So Mayor Pro Tem December or January? 'Cause the last one was in January.
You've done it in January.
Good with January is fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. January is fine. Yeah. I think it is. Yeah. I think it is January.
We've done
yeah.
it in January.
Yeah. I didn't want us to forget that because
I understand.
I just thought about it.
We have Richard Walker, 4360 Yates Road, to discuss code enforcement issues.
I don't think he's here. He's already left.
Next, we have Adrian Booker, 5062 Roofwork Circle, to discuss CUP. We'll put that off to public hearing.
You're here for the public hearing? Ma'am? Okay, so we'll have an actual hearing on that. So
The next 4 people are also for the public hearing. Mose James of Rugby, to discuss Sagittarius.
Good evening. You know, I was excited. I had good things to share until that ordinance got moved into the consent agenda. But I'm gonna try to stick to the script. Good evening. So yesterday, my wife and I, we celebrated 22 years of being together. She asked me to be her boyfriend 22 years ago yesterday, believe that or not. Now, thank you. We've been married for 14 years. I want to tell you something my mother told me early on. She said, I'm married to a Sagittarius, so be careful. Because she too is married to a Sagittarius. And what happens is, she said that she and my dad, they would get into these arguments because she had an idea of something, he had an idea of something, and then she'd say, you know what? She's never going to let you know that you were right. But she'll go home and she'll think about it. But in the moment, she's not going to let you know that she's right. And for 22 years, my mom was exactly correct. Because my wife and I, we get into these little petty things. She won't let me know I'm right, but she'll go home and she'll think about it, and we'll come back later. Last week, many of us left this, or 2 weeks ago, many of us left this meeting thinking that a bathroom was going to be closed in Barrett Park. You know, we had all this chipping back and forth. Pipes are going to burst. I live a block away from the park. My pipes froze one time over the last 7 years. Vandalism. You know, they use all these things to scare us. And then there was one question that was asked. It said, is there a way that we can find out if people can come in and clean the bathrooms so we don't have to close them? But the city manager said this. He said, I run the day-to-day operations of the city and I know what's best. We're going to shut it down. McKenzie and Karn, they both said, I agree. Shut down the bathrooms. Then they said, we're going to bring in porta potties. Now, even though we spent $750,000 on this bathroom, they want to bring in porta potties now. But, you know, I was excited when I learned it on the agenda today. I think some people went home, they thought about it, and they said, you know, it does not make sense to close down a $750,000 investment when we could possibly bring in people to clean it up. So just like my mom told me many times ago, Your wife might not let you know you're right in the moment, but she'll go home and she'll think about it. I want to thank you all for listening to other people's ideas, collaborating, and coming up with a better way to move forward. Imagine if we start doing that from this moment forward at every single meeting. Imagine the great things that could happen here in College Park. Now, unfortunately, tonight we pushed a whole lot of ordinances that we know nothing about, and it just feels like this is all for naught again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we have Chisel Ajanaku, 1840 Mercer Avenue, Unity Day, December 26th.
Well, I want to be quick. Mayor, City Council members, thank you. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you for supporting the work that I'm passionate about. I want to make a public statement, and I'll read it. Today, I stand here representing United Action for the Advancement of Humanity, a not-for-profit organization that's raising the awareness of the establishment of December 26th as Unity Day in our community. Unity Day represents a powerful opportunity for us to connect together on our shared concerns, desires, and the importance of a common purpose, the upliftment of our city and its citizens. Unity Day will remind us that despite our difference in culture, belief, and background, we share a common goal of harmony and progress. By designing and designating December 26th as Unity Day, we now only honor the spirit of togetherness that follows the holiday season, but also encourage community members to engage in meaningful conversation, to foster understanding and strengthening the bonds with one another. Yet it is a day to participate in activities that promote inclusiveness and connectivity for our benefit and the people who are most concerned about the future of this city. This collective experience will empower participants in our community in creating a legacy of compassion and cooperation for future generations. Moreover, Unity Day can attract visitors, boost local businesses, and enhance community image as we welcome people in places and raise our voices to be heard. Finally, it reinforces the ideal that together we can overcome challenges and celebrate achievement. In conclusion, I urge you to support and participate. I urge our community to support and participate in activities for the establishment of Unity Day on December 26th. Let's commit to a future where unity is not just a concept, but a cherished reality we foster every day. Together, we can make our community a shining example of how we work together in harmony and strength.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And thank everyone present. Look forward for your support.
Next is Sasha, 1800 Phoenix Boulevard, about utilities online.
Hey, my name is Sasha the Diva. I'm very new to the community as far as my business is concerned. I just have a question about the utility bills. You go online to pay the utility bill as a business. You are only able to pay in $500 increments, which to me makes no sense. So I have very large utility bills. My bills can be $2,000, $3,000. So I have to make $500, $500, $500, and then I'm being charged fees for that. I'm trying to understand, why is it just a limit of $500 on paying the utility bills? Very simple, that's all. Instead of having to come up here and see y'all's pretty faces and drive through the drive-through to make the payment. That's my only concern.
Thank you very much, and I think that we can have someone reach out to you about that.
Thanks.
Okay, we have 4 emails that were sent in.
I think I'm supposed to, if anyone else, Madam Clerk, one moment. If anyone wishes to speak who did not sign up, they can do that at this time.
Stephanie Weeks, 2050 Lyle Avenue. I want to read into the minutes the following and hope that we can be reminded of the stated injustice at every council meeting until we receive remedy. Nothing I am saying hasn't already been said, but needs to be voiced continually and with more vigor the longer and more thoroughly our mayor is silenced, so that we may uphold her voice and efforts to hold this body accountable to its electorate. Our city residents twice elected our mayor with a certain understanding of her rights and powers with regard to both parliamentary and executive functions. Each member of this council was elected into a system historically known to function as a strong mayor governance, but took it upon themselves to transform it into a weak mayor system without knowledge or approval from its citizenship. This council decided for us, without notice or public hearing, to fundamentally upend the very structure of our governance to suit the desires of 4 sitting council persons. In attempting to silence and curb our mayor, you are stealing power not from her, but from your very constituents by curtailing what will and won't be disclosed at public meetings and who will and won't be hired and fired. And when our mayor attempts to keep we, the citizens, informed by asking questions on matters to be voted on with little to no information extended to the public, she is silenced again. All this is taken from us while sitting council persons righteously invoke transparency as a smokescreen and reason to malign their own staff. All of this is taken from us while stoking racism as a weapon of division and exploiting economic need as a tool for garnering low-hanging support. No one needs backpacks and hot dogs today in place of economic prosperity and safety tomorrow. All this while selling our property without our consent and welcoming clearly stated and unwanted and potentially dangerous industrial neighbors while simultaneously accepting an undocumented and previously undisclosed $1.6 million grant from the same interloper. You may think you are undermining a mayor, but in fact you are undermining your constituency, your community, and your own neighbors. In the name of the transparency and unity you invoke, you should reconsider and remedy these mistakes, your mistakes. If you don't, there will be damage and harm to our community, economically, environmentally, and culturally. It has already begun, and some of it may have lasting effect for generations. We will not presume to know your motives if you will not presume to decide our fate for us. If there is goodness in your motives, maybe it will be at your own hands. If there is malice, possibly through the courts, but most likely at the hand of your electorate at your next election. Citizens extend...
Thank you, ma'am. 3 minutes. Thank you.
So he was going to speak also?
Oh, if you got 3 minutes.
I see my 3 minutes.
All right.
Okay, thank you, John. Remedy will come. If there is goodness in your motives, maybe at your own hands. If there is malice, possibly through the courts, but most likely at the hand of your electorate at your next election. Citizens extend grace while waiting for public officials to prove they have our best interests at heart, as promised. But with time, grow weary of lies and malfeasance. So be careful who you silence. It may just be yourselves.
Thank you, ma'am. Does anyone else wish to speak?
Greetings, Mayor, City Council, all the elected officials, and the citizens of College Park. For the record, my name is Larry Brady Evans. I reside at 2112 West Princeton Avenue, College Park, Georgia. I'd like to greet you all tonight in the greetings of peace. A couple of concerns I have surrounding my home. First, Councilman Gay, I'd like to commend you on the wall that you have over on Herschel Road, along with the other officials. I think it looks very nice. The concern I have is a property that's next to my home. The city owned these two properties, really all three of them. But there's a tree that's leaning over that threatened to fall upon my house. I don't know if the city will be held responsible if this tree falls on my house and cause serious damage to me or my family members. I just want you all to know ahead that that's what's going on. And for the last 10 years, I've been taking care of those properties over there. I've been cutting those yards myself. Haven't gotten a penny from the city. Haven't even asked. I just hope and pray that you all hear me out to what I have to say. And I hope and pray that you all have digested your trick-or-treat candy, that you move forward into Thanksgiving. A time of the year when families come together and really renew the vows, what it really means to be family and friends. Not so much bickering like the citizen just came up. She seemed very disappointed in what's going on here at the council with the mayor and the elected officials. Well, me personally, I'm at peace. It doesn't matter to me who sits where you sit as long as you do your job. And that's the same way I feel about the White House. It don't matter to me who in there, Trump or Harris or whomever. God is on the throne, and that's what's going to go on. So as I leave you all tonight, I hope and pray that you hear what I have to say, because I'm in College Park to stay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to leave you as I came before you in the greetings of peace. Thank you.
Does anyone else from the audience wish to speak?
Greeting, Mayor and Council and others. Von Mulaney, 3707 Main Street, College Park. The history of this country is built on slavery. The institutions in this country is patterned behind slavery, because slavery is one of the most successful institutions in this country, where you had a centralized model where most of the power was at the top and very little power was at the bottom with the workers. We recognize that a centralized model akin to slavery, it leads to a lot of exploitation, a lot of fraud, a lot of things happening that we did not want to happen as city builders. So we sought to bring in a decentralized model to be something different and better than the slave model that was in this country. And the decentralized model is where more power is invested in a wider range of people, and less power is invested at the small, narrow top of the chain. And we tried this model with city government. We want a diversified city government where you had a decentralized central government and you had a centralized city government. That's why you have a mayor that has more power, you have a mayor that has less power. What we recognize is that when you have a more decentralized model, then the mayor is not a weak mayor. She served the most important role in this development. They call it a neutral mayor, an objective mayor. You bring neutrality and objective to a situation that need to be balanced off. And when you do that, your system works better. So you're in a more decentralized model that's supposed to be much better than any other model that's been built in this country to help make things work better. Mayor, you really have the most important role in here when your council is deliberating and cannot make a decision. An objective, neutral person has the power to step forward and move things forward in this system. So really, in terms of being the city government for the last 25 years, we found that the most efficient, most effective form of city government is where power is spread out, decentralized among many as opposed to one. And we as GMA have encouraged more cities to adopt the very model that you're in. It's the most successful model that we have in this country. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone else wish to speak? All right, we'll move to email.
Our first email is from Tom Coleman, Dear Mayor and Council, item 9C includes several new ordinances. These are complex and may have many ramifications. It would be best if these were initially brought up in workshop for a full examination. The council package has this 21-page long set of ordinances, but no staff report on why the ordinance set needs updating, nor what the problems are that need to be addressed. No staff comments by the code enforcement, police, fire, or other affected city departments as to impact on their areas of responsibility are provided. Similarly, there is no comparison of what the old ordinances being revoked in their entirety say and what the new ones do. Additionally, time is needed to parse these ordinances and allow the property owners affected to weigh in. This item should be tabled and brought up in a workshop. Regards, T.O. Coleman Jr. The next email is from Rose Bolden in Ward 4. As a concerned citizen, I want to understand why Councilman Joe Karn is adamant that the council have 2 meetings in December 2025 when he and Councilman Roderick Gay coordinated council meeting absences that affect staff, city businesses, and citizens in November and December 2023. Now there's a concern about the council having 2 December meetings in 2025. College Park citizens, please take note and beware. Joan Karn, Roderick Gay, Jamil McKenzie, and the rude, disrespectful city manager, Dr. Emmanuel Adediran, are coordinating to push forward their agendas with zero concern for staff, the city, or citizens. It's a continuation of the illusion of transparency and false concern for city and citizens. Also, it's my understanding that the city manager is an employee of the city. So in what world does an employee point his finger, raise his voice, and speak disrespectfully to a mayor who was elected by the citizens? It's a world where he has been emboldened by actions of council. Actions will always speak louder than words. The next is from Robert Wolf. Hello, Mayor and council members. I live on West Lyle and would like to express the need for more speed bumps to be installed down Lyle, Harris, and Flowers, please. We have a constant flow of speeding traffic, especially during the early morning and afternoon time frames, typically around school drop-off and pickup times. Can we please discuss and research this need as it's becoming more typical? Thanks, Rob Wolf. And then our last one is from Demetris Taylor. Greetings, Mayor and Council. I am Demetris Taylor, nearly 17-year resident of Embarcadero Club Apartments, in Ward 2, and I continuously say I'm not the voice of the people, I am the people. My concerns this evening are as follows. We've been inundated with neighbor uproar about the battery storage facility, but I'm flabbergasted that we have not heard a word about these cell towers that are planted in the city of College Park on Bill Evans Field that is under heavy criticism and scrutiny because of its sale. I've only learned of this within the last 2 weeks, and I'm perplexed as to when this was decided and how many, if not all of the residents were made aware that such towers were going to be planted so close to the housing authority with the amount of dangerous radiation that emits from them. With all of the excitement about possible fires and possible dangers that could come from the storage facility that's not in the city, we have direct radiation dangers in the city, and I've not heard any outrage about the dangers of calls. Is this one of the reasons why the field has been kept under lock and key and has not been used but by outside scheduled or planned events? Why aren't we utilizing the land adjacent to the railroad tracks to store such towers, as they would have provided excellent space and been away from the residential area like the housing authority? And that assessment is based on having our parking in that area as well as the depot itself. At the same time of my perplexity about the cell phone towers, I am wondering why we can't have improved Wi-Fi services throughout the city, as we have many dead zones that knock out networks and signals, which causes major frustration with residents and visitors alike, especially at the GICC when we have to use the Wi-Fi to access our tickets or other pertinent information. I've been stating this for over a year now that the West Point Road needs to be repaved and the yellow divider lines need to be strengthened, as the road is the connector to Best Road. That road is in a great need of repair and need to be well lit. The trees hover over the road, preventing maximum sight access, and also creates cubby areas for cars to sit off the road unseen until closely approached.
All right. I think we've got a public hearing.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good
evening.
Okay, we have an applicant, Adrian Booker, who is requesting a conditional use permit for a vape shop at 4843 Old National Highway. It's in a C2 Community Business District, and it is located in the Discount Plaza, or the International Plaza Commercial Strip Center. Per Appendix A, Article 3, Division 11, Section 3.35, Conditional Uses, under Business Uses, an action was taken by City Council on September 16, 2024, to require a conditional use permit for vape shops in the C2 and the business park districts. Because of this, the applicant, who was originally applying for a business license, was required to submit an application for the conditional use permit. Surrounding land uses are industrial, business park, office, personal services, commercial, and the right-of-way for the AWP Railroad, Roosevelt Highway, and Sullivan Road. The comprehensive plan designates the property as suburban commercial. The proposed location of the vape shop is in a, let me see the size, approximately 1,000 square foot business at the corner of the multi-tenant strip center. Each tenant has their own address. There are restaurants on either side of the proposed suite, and throughout the center, there is a private event venue in the complex. There's retail, personal services, and there's a gas station adjacent to the entrance of the center, which also is a convenience store. Currently, there are 2 vape shops in the city, Bud House Smoke and Vape at 1622 Virginia Avenue in the Virginia Station Shopping Center in the downtown commercial district, and Vape Culture at 5015 Old National Highway in the C2 district to the south. There are 8 smoke or vape shops that have been identified in the vicinity surrounding the College Park. They are mostly located in South Fulton and East Point. And there's 2 in Hapeville. Because of the nature of the proposed business, special attention to maintaining distances between the vape shop and sensitive uses, which are uses such as schools, multifamily, residential, religious institutions, parks, open space, recreational centers, libraries, public facilities. It is important that we look at those distances in the determination of the approval for the conditional use permit. In the process of determining appropriate standards to regulate the locational aspects of the vape shop, to protect the sensitive uses, I first did some research and looked at uses which, by nature of the products sold, have similarities to a vape shop. This includes packaged liquor stores and convenience stores. It was found that these uses generally are subject to requirement that a conditional use permit be approved and or adherence to development and use standards. The city uses minimum standards stipulated by the state for packaged liquor stores. We do not have any specific distance requirements for convenience stores. But the state requirements for a packaged liquor store from sensitive uses requires 300 feet from churches and parks, 600 feet from schools, and 3,000 feet distance between other packaged liquor stores. Those are the only established distance requirements that we have in the city for uses that require a conditional use permit. I then conducted a cursory review of ordinances from jurisdictions in the Atlanta region, which are predominantly in the South Fulton area, that pertained to vape shops. There are a number of jurisdictions that currently have established moratoriums or prohibit vape shops. Those that do permit them do have stringent standards for distances. In general, the distances ranged between 300 feet to 2,000 feet for a public school, a private school, MARTA properties, daycare centers, libraries, religious institutions, parks, playgrounds, recreational areas, and other public locations. Those jurisdictions that I reviewed also had distance requirements between retailers of alternative nicotine suppliers, which ranged between 600 feet to 300 feet to a similar business. I did, and it's in your package, I conducted a cursory review of sensitive uses and the existing vape shops in the vicinity to ascertain approximate distances between the subject address for the vape shop and the different uses. I used an approximate midpoint distance of 1,000 feet between the front entrance of the proposed shop to the property line of a sensitive use. And that was as the crow flies, not as you follow the roadways. Only a few residential units at the southern end of Winthrop Drive are less than the hypothetical standard of 1,000 feet that I used. However, they are physically separated by two major city arterials and the AWP Railroad, which is an approximate 325-foot right-of-way. So there is not a direct access between the ends of the residential property and the proposed vape shop location. The remainder of the uses in the matrix do exceed that midpoint. I also used a midpoint between vape shops of 2,000 feet to determine how far the existing vape shops are in the city. The vape shop on Virginia Avenue is quite a distance, and that is not a significant proximity issue. The existing vape culture store at 5015 Old National Highway does not meet a 3,000-foot threshold, but it does meet a 2,000-foot distance threshold. Although there is a 550-foot right-of-way between the I-25-8285, and that separates somewhat physically the two vape shops within the city on Old National Highway. I did make findings in the analysis that the application for the conditional use permit does comply with the City of College Park zoning ordinance, and the proposed location is generally compatible with the character and intensity of surrounding commercial land uses, based on the distance of at or over 1/4 of a mile to the sensitive uses. However, future tenants of the International Plaza, should this CUP be approved, will have to consider proximity of their use to the vape shop to determine compatibility. There may be some that cater to school or youth that may not be appropriate adjacent to or within walking distance of the vape shop if it is established there for future residents of the International Plaza. So that needs to be considered in your determination. I did require that the operation only be operated between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. with reduced hours on Sunday. So they're not open late like a convenience store would be. They would have to close at generally when other businesses, retail businesses, close. There is a hardship to the applicant should this CUP not be approved, and that is that they would have to terminate their lease on the property, which they signed several months ago, and they have already begun some interior renovations and set up. So they would have to terminate their business at that location. The proposed use is in accordance with the comprehensive plan and the future land use map, which has the land use designation of suburban commercial, so that would not require any kind of rezone. The Planning Commission considered the application for the conditional use permit on October 28th, 2024. They determined that in this circumstance, given that the specific distances that the city wants to impose on future conditional use permits have not been codified yet. And the Planning Commission at our next meeting is going to discuss instances they feel are appropriate that they would want to recommend to council to make into an ordinance so that we have specific distances as a requirement for vape shops. At the moment, we do not have that. Based on that, the Planning Commission determined that based on a 2,000-foot distance between similar alternative tobacco establishments, that the conditional use permit be approved. That's the recommendation. If the council feels that a 2,000-foot separation is appropriate, then staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit to allow the use at 4843 Old National Highway as a vape shop, according to specific conditions that, number one, all state licensing requirements are met, that the hours of operation be limited to 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., that only alternative nicotine products and accessories as specified in the definition in the code will be permitted to be sold on the premises. There will be no outdoor display or seating, and that the Public Safety Department should review and make any recommendations as a condition of the business license when that is, if this is approved, when the business license application comes in, that the public safety review the application and make any additional recommendations as a condition. And that is all I have.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll hear from the applicant. There's anything they want to add?
We do have two people that have signed up to speak. Okay. Adrian Booker.
I'll open up the public hearing in just a moment.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right.
She's the applicant.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Council. I just want to say that it has been a lengthy process with trying to open up our store in College Park, but we have made improvement to the location as well with our own funds. And the only reason why we moved forward with making the changes and upgrades to the location, when I first started out looking to open up a store in College Park, the city of College Park, first of all, I spoke with the landlord. He actually really wanted a vape store there. So that's what made me move forward on it. Then also, between me and my husband and my son, we both looked at the area several times of the day just to check out the environment, the people, and make sure it felt safe for us, which that checked out. But then we did our homework with coming up here. At the time, we spoke with Miss Belinda, along with, we had my realtor. She had reached out to also for us on our behalf to Miss Israel, and they explained about the cup. But Miss Belinda also explained to me that she would under no circumstances send out an inspector or fire code inspector until the store was built out, because we hadn't did anything at that time. And I said, well, what do you mean? What are you asking me to do? So she said, set the store up. You don't have to have your products there, but go ahead and set the store out, make your changes, do what you're gonna need to do. So when you come back in and say, hey, I'm ready, when they come to that store, they can see what it's gonna look like and make sure it's safe for customers to come in and how it's supposed to look. So that's what we did. And when I was at that point where I was ready and I built it out, we made the changes, got our approvals for whatever we was doing. I came in and I said, okay, it's done. Then when I come in, it just, I come to the meeting, planning and zoning meeting. The first one was canceled due to no shows or whatever call out, whatever happened that day. But I just want to say we're not looking to bring a problem to the community. We're looking to enhance the community. Our mindset is to have the best looking store over there in that plaza, to bring a good environment to that plaza.
Bring jobs to the
Bring
community as well.
Yeah, bring jobs to the community as well. Also, I have a question regarding even with our time, store operating hours. I mean, we sit right next to a club, Jamaican. I don't know who's familiar with the plaza, but you got a club there that's right there that's open to 3 a.m. in the morning. They don't open up till like 10 or 11 in, close to noon, lunchtime. So, my idea, it's not, of course, to stay open at 3 a.m. in the morning. No, I'm not going to do that. But just to try to cater to that business as well. Along with, you got a sports bar on the end. Like she said, we got an event store, and I do sit next to a restaurant on my left side here. But I think in y'all packages, you should see the improvements I've done. And my desire is to continue to try to help keep the plaza improved. I must say, I love the president of College Park Police. They're there all times of the day, whether it's morning, noon, night, they're there. They're present in that plaza. That plaza has seemed to have ran very safe and with a sense of order, order, with no problems, and I like that. But I'm just looking to open up my business, me and my husband, and get started, and just to bring something positive to the community and nothing bad to the community. We ain't looking to, tear down the community, but to bring up the community. We have been in business. We got a construction company. We've been in business for almost 30 years with our construction company. It's called the Demo Group. And we've done work all over Georgia. We've done work in the city of College Park. We took on some projects here. So, I mean, we're just entrepreneurs, business owners, and looking to just,
continue doing business.
Continue doing business, good business. And we're just asking for our approval.
All right.
And I would like to say also, though, another thing I would like to say with our business, if there's any way we can implement any type of involvement in the community of the city of College, we won't have a problem with that as well. Because we've been in business a long time, so we understand, just giving back to the community some kind of way, And that's pretty much it.
All right.
I want to thank y'all for listening to me.
Thank you.
Hearing me out. Okay?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's time I'll declare the public hearing open. If anyone wishes to speak on this application, they can come down.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even like vape shops. I'm not a smoker, but to hear you and what you have done and the money that you have put out there as business owners, I would hope that you would support them, because to sign a lease, to make all those renovations, if you're following what someone's telling you from the city to do it, that would be so unfair and devastating to that family to lose so much money. So I pray for you, and I hope that they support you guys, okay? Even though I don't vape. Okay.
We do have 2 people signed up, Mayor.
Ms. Booker, I think, was one of them, and
Okay.
I'm not
And
sure
her
the other
husband?
one was.
Okay.
Does anyone else wish to speak? All right. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion?
Motion to deny.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Denmark, is there an issue facing us legally for this denial? Potential?
There are some legal ramifications, Mayor, but I think it would not be appropriate to discuss potential exposure on the part of the city in a public meeting.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of the denial?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
We now have the consent agenda.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Carm. Any discussion? Hearing none, move to a vote. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
Councilmembers Carn and Gay are in favor. Councilmember Arnold abstains. The consent agenda is approved. Item 9A is the citywide events.
Sorry.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Is there a second?
I wasn't through.
Second.
I apologize, sir. What is your motion?
I wasn't finished with the motion. Motion to approve adding the Kids Fest and the Ward 4 Citywide Festival to the event schedule.
Second with discussion.
Always discussion. Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Michelle? Is she still here?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we talked about figuring out a way to move this parade to Godby.
Councilman Corn, let me amend the motion. I forgot
Wait.
about the parade.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, my bad.
Still going.
Mayor, I'm gonna amend my motion to approve the calendar to add the Kids Fest, Citywide Festival, and the Christmas Parade.
And my discussion was still same second with discussion. Councilwoman Arnold, I just wanted to make sure that you're okay with. So this is going to be a first, Michelle. You know, obviously you want to work closely with police and fire, public works, everybody that you normally work with to make sure this thing is a success. City manager, communications. Communications is going to be very important for this one because we don't want a lot of folks coming out the Main Street on the 7th thinking that this is where it's going to be. We're going to have a great event. It's going to be better and bigger than ever. And if we want to participate, we're going to come on down the Godby Road this year because those kids deserve holiday parade too. And just for the record, this will be the first time that we are spreading that holiday parade around this city. So that's my comment there.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
Councilmember Arnold, go right ahead.
The decorations that we normally put up down Main Street, is it possible that we can also put some up on Godby Road since that's where we're going to have the
Yeah, I would have to defer to Glenn. Is he still here?
I believe there are decorations on Godby Road.
No.
I mean, there's lighting that goes up.
Mayor,
No.
I think she's thinking about the same thing
The
I am.
holiday.
You know, we usually have the Christmas tree decorations there on Main Street. I think maybe having that on Godby, maybe at either the rec center or somewhere, I think would be a good plus for that community as well. So we want to bring that holiday experience down both ways. So usually we have the group of the Christmas trees that are decorated from the businesses, or how do we do it?
For the tinsel trail?
The tinsel trail.
Okay, that's CPMSA. You'd have to talk to them. That's their specific.
Well, City Manager, I'd like to discuss with them and see if they'd be open to maybe moving it this time. It'd still be the CPSA. It'd just be.
Okay, that's on light up. We do that for the Monday night light up. That wouldn't be for the Christmas parade. That's a separate event.
Understood.
Okay.
Well, we're going to do some different things.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to give you the information.
Now, I know we usually light the tree at City Hall. Is that right? But the tinsel trail is a separate deal. You know, there have been plenty of City Hall Christmas tree lightings without the tinsel trail. This is just my suggestion, is that we take a look at moving the tinsel trail to a different location so that some of the other residents get a chance to
Yeah, so that would be a discussion with Ginger.
I'm sorry.
That would be a discussion with Ginger for the CPMSA. I don't have oversight of the tinsel trail. That is their separate to do. So I'm sure if you talk to her.
Well, I mean, I think, we each have a Main Street board member, and
yeah.
I'll talk to mine to see if, they're okay with it, but I think it'd be good to change things up a little bit and move them around. It's just as many citizens along Godby Road that would enjoy that tinsel trail as there are up here on the north side.
Councilmember Arnold?
Right, so I was speaking of the actual light post.
Yeah,
Like
Glenn did confirm that there are wreaths that they put on Godby Road.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to make sure, because I know when we did Juneteenth and when we did Memorial Day, there weren't any flags on Godby Road. So I want to make sure that since we're going to have the parade there, that we do at least have the lights on the post for the Christmas holiday.
Michelle, I still want to discuss the tinsel trail with the Main Street Board, see if that's something they might be open to.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Thank you.
We've got consideration of an action on a request to approve the hiring of park attendants for restroom coverage at Barrett, Phillips, and Zup City Parks from October 1st through March 30th. Is there a motion?
Well, a couple of questions, City Manager. I know with Phillips, I guess we kind of share it, and I'm fine either way. I don't know how many folks we get. Do we usually just leave them open? Phillips.
Well, my question was going to be, if we're going to monitor that one, we need to monitor Phillips. It's used more. It's the most highly used park.
It's Barrett, Phillips, and Zup.
Yes, Phillips Park is included
It's all
in that.
three.
Yes.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Well, I mean, we've had vandalism issues at Phillips before in the past.
And I have a question, Ms. Stewart. What's the issue with parks, with building and grounds? They can't manage this. That's who do it currently, right? Building and grounds.
We don't have enough crew to keep it clean, sir. No, because all the guys the crew that normally keeps it from, I believe in April through October. They let them go at the end of October.
Oh, I see.
So this is something new that.
Whatever y'all want to do.
So Ms. Stewart, do we have folks in the pipeline for these jobs already?
No, we have not started the hiring process for those positions.
So why don't we just contract with somebody? Because this is supposed to be from October 1st through March 30th. If we were to take another, say, 30 days to hire someone, we're already at essentially almost Christmas. Why not take the opportunity to find a private firm that could start next week or whenever, as opposed to going through the process of hiring individuals? That's just going to take more time to ramp up, and people still use the bathroom every day.
Well, Mayor,
I'm asking the city manager, I just like your opinion on that, Dr. Adedirian.
I can discuss that with the procurement manager tomorrow, see if she can explore that avenue and see what she can gather for us.
Councilmember Carr?
Well, couple of things. I think, I know we're one person short here. I don't want to make a decision for someone else's part without them being here. Rose, is this something that could go to December 2nd?
I'm sure that it could, since Councilwoman McKenzie, spearheaded this project because of the concerns of the citizens in Ward 1. So I'm sure that it possibly could.
Well, and I don't know which way she wants to go with this thing, but for me, in terms of Philip's part, the wintertime, obviously less people are going to be using the restroom facilities. I do worry about vandalism. I do worry about homeless folks, camping out in there. Obviously, the wintertime, you have less folks coming out picnicking and barbecuing and the whole nine. I think it goes more towards the residential folks' usage in the wintertime than anywhere else, which to me would speak to, they live close by where there's, their home is nearby. But I'm fine with leaving it closed, in terms, this is just my 2 cents in terms of Philip's part. If there's an event or some kind of special situation going on, maybe we bring a porta potty out there. If there's something planned, there may be a significant amount of folks. If the kids are out there with the soccer thing, I don't know if they do that in the winter, but, maybe pull one out then, something.
I think one of the concerns is that, not only just having someone there, you're looking at sanitizing, cleaning, the cleaning around the area where people may have thrown debris out around the park. So you're looking at that in addition to making sure that it's monitored, as far as people coming and going. And so I think that's a whole general concern of having the attendants in the park, because they would be there every day.
Okay, well, just speaking for myself, I haven't gotten any concerns about the need for that to be open in the winter. If my residents were complaining to me and saying we need that restroom open in the winter, I'm going to listen to my residents' request. But the stuff I've been hearing about is the stuff that we passed in this ordinance. That's their concern. And so that's where I'm at. So I'm fine either way. But, if it can wait till everybody's here,
Sure.
I think it might be a better decision. But I'm fine either way, whatever y'all think on it.
I've gotten quite a bit of feedback about this issue, and it's all been, I've not gotten any feedback from anyone who said we should keep these restrooms closed. Folks use them when they're walking in the morning. There are a lot of people that are walking regardless, basically come almost every kind of weather we've got. I'm just trying to understand what the most cost-efficient, expedient outcome is, and I'm just concerned that that the ramp up to getting new people would essentially maybe even put us at the first of the year after the holidays. So, can we explore all options? Can we come back with information about, all right, if we're hiring, great, how long is it going to take to ramp up? If we've got an opportunity to contract these services, how soon could they ramp up? What does that price comparison look like? So we can make a decision that is in the best interest of the community. Councilmember Arnold, I think you wanted to say something.
I agree with both Councilman Karn and with Mayor, Councilman Karn, to the fact of wanting to hear, since this is Councilwoman McKenzie's item, she spearheaded it, wanting to hear her voice, especially with the additional information that the mayor is asking for to do the comparison to see where her thoughts are. Personally, I'm like Councilman Gay, if the citizens want it, it's fine with me, but it does make sense to have the additional information so that we can make an educated decision on it.
Sure. And I'd like to just make a comment, 2 comments, and I just want to say this for the record. There is an ordinance where the mayor doesn't preside. Now, that's fine that she's asking for commentary, but I just want to go on the record. That is our ordinance. And that's three things that has been said. The next thing I want to say is that in addition to the bathrooms with Phillips Park, it's more of an issue that it needs patrolling overall. We still have visitors up into the night. I mean, Phillips Park is a whole different world at night. I have to call the chief more than I want to call her to move cars. So my issue is not just the bathroom, but if we're going to have an attendant, perhaps they should just be a continuation to provide other services. Trash.
Exactly.
Picking up the trash. And then the biggest issue with Phillips, I don't know about the other council members' parts, but we go through so much trouble renting the pavilions, but then they don't rent them. They just show up and use them. Because we don't rent them in the fall, but they just there. So on Saturday, you got rentals. So we might just need to revisit the entire, how we want to monitor these bathrooms and these parks.
Councilmember Arnold?
Can we table it until the?
Is there a motion?
To do what?
To table it.
You made a motion?
I hadn't made it yet.
Make a motion.
Okay. Yes, I move to table this until, our next meeting?
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Thank you.
City Clerk, that's December 2nd, I believe, right?
City Attorney's report.
No report other than what was in the packet.
City Manager's report.
Yes, I also have a 32-page in the report, but there are a couple of areas that I would like to highlight. This coming Friday, I'm meeting with the CW Matthews, Prime, and Josh. Josh is the project engineer for the bridge, and we will try to gauge as to when the bridge will be commissioned and open. We're looking at sometime in February. This past weekend, all the braces were put in place this past weekend. So that's one I wanted to highlight. I also want to commend GICC, the power company, fire and police, and also public works for the sanitation recycling, elaborate recycling program that they're doing right now with the help of Coca-Cola. And that's the city manager's.
Dr. Adderdean, I know we've talked about this, we've gone about this. There were some residents who got letters about service lines to their homes. Can you talk a little bit about what those letters meant and how folks should interpret them?
What those letters were is EP is first and foremost state EPD and EPA requirements that in houses that were built prior to 1990. In the city of College Park, we're still trying to find out exactly what's in the, what type of pipes leads to the meter that goes to people's house. That's still being worked on right now. And that's why there's no definite answer as to this will be changed or that will be changed. We had a company that did the testing for us, and we still don't have the result as to, because I believe I stated here before, I've seen pipes on West Fairview. I've been in this business 40 or more years. I've never seen those kind of pipes before. So what type, we don't know, but we have a private company that's still trying to find out exactly, what those pipes are, and then, but we've met all the EPD, the state, and EPA mandate. That's what the letter is about.
So for individual residents,
Yes.
when could they expect that they would hear some level of follow-up, or do we have a timeline on that?
Once, how long it would take the company to find out exactly what type of pipes we have prior, before the meters, I can't tell you how long it will be, but once we find out, we will let them know.
Okay.
But
So-
the key is meeting the state EPD and EPA requirement, and that's where, that's what the letter is about.
Okay. So is there any action that any individual residents need to take?
No, right now, no,
Okay.
no, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. I think it's on to me. Spent a fantastic week last week with the National League of Cities. It's their 100th anniversary. And so they had an amazing city summit in Tampa. As a member of the board of directors, got there early so we could talk about all the important things that are going on across the country in cities, towns, and villages. One of the things that is so important to our residents is push on rail safety. I've talked about this multiple times before, but certainly it came to a head in East Palestine, Ohio, about a year and a half ago, and just know that NLC is on the forefront of those issues and is also working very closely with the transition team as President Trump builds his cabinet and builds his connections. NLC is working to establish those lines of communication to ensure that the voices of cities, towns, and villages across this country will be heard by the new administration, and they're looking forward to continuing to have those conversations. Certainly, one of the big things that we heard about, and I say we because Councilmember Arnold was there, and I'm not going to talk all about everything that we did, but we talked a lot about AI. It was a huge focus of the conference, and how cities can incorporate AI as they move forward for efficiency and just getting staff and elected bodies and the entire community to embrace what AI can do to improve our communities. I know I got quite a few good ideas from it, and NLC has a playbook on it and a report. I've had the opportunity to review that, found it very, very helpful, as I am not as well versed as Councilmember Arnold in AI, but it was definitely a great opportunity to learn more, and I'm hopeful that we can incorporate some of the suggestions and some of the tools that cities around the country are already using to be better. Also got the opportunity to participate on a panel about combating NIMBYism, and talked about some of our concerns that have gone on in College Park and how we overcome those and how we talk with one another, how we continue to try to connect with one another. Sat down with the on the panel had two folks from the American Planning Association and the council president from Columbus, Ohio. They are doing some very bold thinking there around transit-oriented development, and basically took plots of land that could have held 6,000 units before their rezoning, and now they can hold 88,000 because they are going up. They were only allowed to go about 3 stories prior to this, and now they have, in their transit-oriented developments, gone up to 16. So it is really... Ordinance. It's focusing density in various areas that are in Columbus that are close to transit. Obviously, they are home of the Ohio State University, so they have a different viewpoint on these things than other communities do, but they are expected to almost double in size in the next 20 years. And so they are looking to go from just under 1 million to almost 2 million. And so they are trying to figure out how that works in their community. And there were great opportunities for us to learn from not only Columbus, but it was a great conversation throughout the conference. I want to thank all of the amazing NLC staff for all that they do every day, because they work especially hard to make sure that we are well informed and good advocates for our communities. We had a good representation of Georgia there, and it was good to connect with a lot of our counterparts across the state. So, Councilmember Arnold, I'm not going to steal your thunder on the gas, but know that I'm going to be there with her. It's going to be fun. So I think I'm going to leave it there. And Councilmember Karn?
Mackenzie, I believe, is before me.
Oh, that's right. She has her video.
Yes.
It's 20 minutes.
It's 3 minutes, 20
3
seconds.
minutes.
Sure. Councilmember Karn, go right ahead.
All right. So, City Manager, the blinking lights along Camp Creek Parkway, blinking lights, it's a big issue. It's been going on for several months. I understand we at least touch base with GDOT about it as well, right?
Yes, and I discussed it with Glenn, I discussed it with Glenn, as well.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, apparently it's not just a GDOT issue, because on Lottie Miller Drive, they're blinking as well down that street, some ways down that street as well. So, we see this wonderful bridge going up, but we want to make sure the lights aren't blinking too much where folks can't see it. Very happy about the bridge progress on Camp Creek. That is something that Councilmember Gay and myself fought for and lobbied for in D.C. With Congressman David Scott's office. We pointed out the fact to him that out of all of the Tiger Grant possibilities in the state of Georgia, I think it was about 13 at that point, this was the only Tiger Grant opportunity in the 13th Congressional District. When he realized that, he did pick up the phone and called Doug Hooker directly and put this bridge as a top priority for the state of Georgia. So we are forever thankful to Congressman Scott for making that happen. City Manager, thank you for the additional stop sign at the Wally Park four-way. That makes a big difference. We don't want an accident there, and According to some of my neighbors, we had some close calls there, so we're glad to get that taken care of. There was a guy that came in today, actually, asking, where's Officer Porsche? She's right there. Oh, there she is, in the corner. Yeah, he was asking Officer Porsche about bicycle trails. I think it was a cyclist, and he was asking about the trails and where they are and are they connected. And, I'm glad that we have a GIS map person in now. There's a laundry list of maps that we are going to need. One of them is the trails, the Phoenix Trail, the Brady Trail, where it is, how you access it, is it connected? I know we're going to be making some improvements to the trail, but I think this is the kind of stuff that should be on the on the city website. And at one point when I checked, even our new council members, they need complete city maps, ward maps, and the different types of maps that are really necessary so they can kind of get a feel of what's going on. So we want to make sure that we get that together. The other thing, we wanted to refresh on all of the city-owned property. So we really need to work on that and make sure we're comprehensive there, because there have been a lot of sales and changes, and we want to make sure that our maps are up to date. Speaking of maps, I don't know if everybody's seen this. You pass one of those down to everybody. Has everybody seen the book we put together? And this is kind of a picture book, a book about the city, an overview about the city. One of the best things about this, I guess, is that none of us are in the book. This is about the city of College Park, not the representation necessarily, but I thought to myself, I said, everywhere I've taken this, people were really, really impressed by the work. Cameron, I want to thank you for putting this thing together and modifying this thing. We also are working on a book for the Christmas event, BIDA Christmas event for our developers, a smaller version of this. We want them to know about the good things that are going on in this city. And like I always say, if you don't toot your own horn, I guarantee you, nobody else is going to toot it for you. So we want people to be aware of this. Communications did a great job putting this together. And I thought to myself, city manager, I don't think there's any reason why these pages or most of these pages or some of these pages should be on our city website somewhere. So when people go on that city website, they see what's going on in this city and what we're about. I think it'd be pretty impressive to folks. It's great that we have it in a booklet form, but I think some of this stuff needs to be incorporated into the city website some kind of way or another, since we already got it set and digitized and the high resolution photos and everything. So Cameron, I hope you're hearing me back there, right? All right. So I'd like us to work on that, and I know we're working on the website anyhow. So, a couple other things. I want to send my heartfelt condolences out to the Stokes family on losing Mr. Anthony Stokes. He was a resident. He was a friend. He was a great guy in our community. He lived in the Camp Creek area, and he was funeralized last week, and I attended on behalf of the city and spoke on behalf of the city. We have to honor our residents, and we have to always share in the residents, in the victories and in the bad times. So condolences out there. Last thing I say, someone mentioned in public comments about listening to other people's ideas, listening to residents' ideas. And I will just say that, folks, that's pretty much all that we do up here. Listening to the concerns of our residents, listening to the ideas of our residents, listening. Where do y'all think that amazing community enhancement budget came from? It came from our residents, from some of the stuff they wanted to see happen and some of the stuff they needed to see funded in this community. Because let's not forget, it's their tax money. Listening to other people's ideas. We do listen up here, contrary to popular belief. That nuisance abatement ordinance that we passed tonight, the addendum to it, that's comprised of several years of residents' complaints from all over our city. Did y'all know that? Yeah. Where do you think those guidelines come from to improve things in our city? A big part of that are from the concerns and complaints of our residents. I'm talking about listening to our residents, listening to their concerns. Now, there's been a lot of listening to our residents over the years, but quite frankly, since this year, I think we're actually responding in a proper way, in a much more proper way. And I'm glad to hear that. Citizens are waiting for their elected officials to prove we have their interests at heart. Well, folks, we're proving it as best as we can. And speaking for myself, I'm going to continue to prove that I have the residents' concerns at heart. Otherwise, there's no need in any of us being up here. If you're not listening and hearing and making the changes that the residents are asking for, then there's no need in being up here. I think we're all listening, and we're making the changes that the residents want to see in this community. I also heard that we're putting together stuff that hasn't been discussed in workshops, that hasn't been milled over and looked at. In terms of that ordinance, we've been in workshop on those issues for a few years. We've had apartment task force meetings for 2 years, listening to all of the concerns and the things we need to do to change our community and to get some of this blight out of our community. And for me, that's one of the goals that my residents have been requesting. So these old ordinances are not being revoked in any way whatsoever. That 21-page ordinance is not a new ordinance. We're not revoking an ordinance and replacing it with another one. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. That ordinance is still in place. And the ordinance additions that we added, they're reinforcing our ordinances. Our ordinances are being strengthened, folks. I want to make it clear so the public has no misunderstanding of what we're voting on up here. Chief Rogers is here. Chief Jones is here. Last time I checked, I believe our ordinances are being strengthened. Is that right? And they're being strengthened to provide for a safer, more secure city with higher standards. That's what these ordinances are about. That's what the changes are about. We're trying to take it up a notch in this city. We're not trying to degrade our ordinances. We're reinforcing our ordinances. Because these ordinances will make this city cleaner, safer, and a better place to live. And the last time I checked, I don't think anybody is in opposition of that. If you are, raise your hand. So I just wanted to make that clear, just to clear up any misunderstandings or misconceptions that we're doing something up here that's not in the people's interest. It's in the people's interest. In 2025, with these ordinances in place, with staffing in place, and with this city manager at the helm, you're going to see some changes in this city that you haven't seen before in terms of better community cleaning, security, safety, code enforcement, all of it. We're going to work hard to make sure we're doubling our efforts up here. But we have to have the proper ordinances and tighten things up to the level that some of our other cities have tightened up ordinances and restrictions that make sure that we get this blight out of here. And, I can't speak for anybody else up here, but folks, I got a vision for this city. I want to see this city striving and doing better than ever before. We're going to make big progress here, and we're going to keep making progress here. Last thing I got, City Manager, the NOISE organization. That stands for the National Organization to Ensure a Sound Environment. This is a nationwide organization for airport cities, and this is something that we have joined every year in terms of membership. Councilmember Clay was a board member of NOISE. I was a former board member of NOISE, and we want to make sure that that membership fee is usually in our budget every year. So we are an airport NOISE city to the nth degree. As a matter of fact, we're probably the noisiest airport city in the United States of America. So if we're not a member of NOISE, God forbid. So we want to make sure that we're a member this year with the 6th West development coming on site. We want to show them how a city can strive despite the airport noise. So we want to make sure we're reconnecting with the NOISE organization. Emily Tranter, who's the executive director there for many, many years, they've been doing a great job, and they got a lot of changes coming up with the administration and the FAA and so on and so forth. So we want to look forward to monitoring those changes, and NOISE, the organization, helps us monitor those changes to the noise contours and so on and so forth, and the rules and regulations regarding the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. Okay, so that's all I got. Thank y'all.
You ready for the? Okay. Do you want me to go to Councilmember Arnold?
I'm learning this system.
Okay, so it looks like we don't have sound. Councilmember Arnold.
All righty. Okay, so over the past couple of weeks, I had several meetings and conversations with citizens, businesses, different legislative partners, and the purpose of me having those conversations, and please forgive me, I'm having a contact attack, was to just get feedback on the services that are coming out of my office. And I will continue to hold those conversations to get feedback for the remainder of the year so that I can use that feedback. It can complement the initiatives that we're going to plan for 2025. I also participated in NLC, as the mayor mentioned earlier, in the NLC City Summit in Tampa. And the conference topics and the trainings were very timely and relevant to some of the things that we are seeing here in College Park and what's going on nationally. We had the opportunity to hear from some amazing, iconic guest speakers: Soledad O'Brien, Lindsey Vaughn, Judge Hatchett, and the session topics really brought home some information that we needed to hear about, or at least I needed to hear about, in reference to identifying and managing grants for infrastructure, to leveraging AI for administrative services. And while I believe that we can greatly benefit from several of the tools that were highlighted at the conference, we have quite a bit of work to do to prepare. As Gordon Hinckley once said, you can't build a great building on a weak foundation, and the same can be said about a great city. It's my belief that we need to shore up our foundation to leverage some of the tools that I witnessed at the conference and the applications that could help us with streamlining our city services, along with filling the gaps, like a lot of the staff gaps that we have, those vacancies. Some of the AI services that were showcased will help us as we as we wait to fill a lot of those vacancies. And in one of the sessions, I heard from the mayor of Tempe, and in his session, he shared a vision, and I wholeheartedly believe what he said, and I operate from this stance with my own staff, which is, as elected officials, we must provide a safe space for staff to be open and honest with us based on their professional expertise. Otherwise, we may not necessarily be making the right and best decisions, and we would constantly have to deal with things like high turnover, low morale, people being stressed out, which we don't want to do. So, Mr. City Manager, with your permission, I would like to work with IT, Finance, and HR over the coming months to gather their feedback, their insights on some of the tools and services that were brought to my attention to see whether or not if they make sense for College Park. And if the experts feel like they make sense, then we could look at incorporating the cost for those tools in our next budget cycle.
As long as you run it, straight through me, that will follow the city charter. Not
absolutely.
Going to my staff and no, the city charter still have to be followed.
Well, no, that's what I'm asking now, right? So that they can actually look at the tools and give us feedback on whether or not if they think it makes sense for the work that they're doing. And then we can consider prioritizing those tools, the cost of them, when we go through our next budget cycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilmember Arnold, I apologize for interjecting, but I would like to work with you on that, I think, if you're open to that.
Okay, so in the coming weeks, I will be hosting my final town hall meeting for the year, and those details are still being finalized and will be sent out in the Thriving in Ward 3 newsletter on our social media outlets and on the websites. I've partnered with Granville and Nouveau for a toy drive. There is a donation box here in City Hall outside of customer service. So when you pass by the box, if you could just drop an unwrapped toy in the box, and we will provide more information about the initiative with the toys in the Ward 3 newsletter as well. On Friday, I will be passing out turkeys to our seniors. And finally, here's the big news that everybody wants to hear about, Gas on God. So I've partnered with Mega Faith Ministries and other legislative partners. The mayor is going to be there. Our Fulton County legislative partners will be there as well. And we'll be giving away gas, filling up cars to a maximum amount of $50. And that will be Saturday at the Chevron on the corner of Old National Highway and Godby Road. And before anybody gets excited, there will be a limit. So you can't bring extra gas cans, fill your car up, take some home to your mama, think you're gonna take a gas can home and fill up your lawnmower. We're not doing that. There is a limit to the amount of gas that you can get. And as the pastor, Pastor Jesse said, this is going to be an epic event for the city, for Ward 3 and for the surrounding community. We are going to be touching so many people with this, and I am just happy to be a part of this initiative. We are still accepting volunteers. As I understand it, the QR code that was sent out earlier that I posted on my social media does not appear to be working. However, if you want to volunteer for this initiative, we are asking that you send an email to cpward3@collegeparkga.com. That is cpward3@collegeparkga.com. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to try it one more time.
I'll try it one more time.
All right.
Thank you.
The Ward 1 report for November 18th. Just to let you know some of the things that we've been up to in Ward 1. Events, conferences. I had the distinct privilege of being able to represent the city of College Park at the National Foundation for Women Legislators 2024 Annual Conference. And oh my gosh, what a lineup of amazing classes, networking. Looking forward to bringing back all that we got to the city of College Park. Also, at the conference, our amazing color guard from the College Park Police Department opened up the conference. They're wonderful. On election night, I was able to meet with Advancing Black Business. They had a fantastic, I guess it was a watch party, and we had a chance to share with businesses there and understand what businesses are looking for in College Park. Also, I attended the tumbleweeds competition. Man, we have some ladies that are totally skilled and just so proud of our girls and looking forward to great things to come for the College Park tumbleweeds. On Saturday, November 23rd, Ward 1 will be partnering with Ignite Resource Center and Favor House to give away turkey dinners. Also, every Monday game this season, the College Park Skyhawks are giving free tickets to College Park residents. Get your ticket for the next game. November, or Movember, is Men's Health Month. And in honor of Men's Health Month, we are partnering with College Park Citizens Association to bring a workshop to College Park called Are We Producing the Men We Hate? That will deal with men's health socially and mentally. Now for some Ward 1 updates. You might have noticed as you were walking down Main Street that we have now installed signs in different locations for when you're walking, you'll know just how far it is to get to, for instance, the library or Arden's Garden. Also, in terms of Barrett Park, many people were concerned about the restrooms because our restrooms had been vandalized. But we have come to a solution that I hope by the time you watch this has been determined by our city council, where we will bring attendants and be able to keep the parks open and safe year-round. And special thanks go out to our Public Works team for installing the four-way stop at the corner of Atlanta Street and Virginia Avenue. And also, we are working on getting concrete pad and at the bus stop on Washington Road. Last but not least, please remember the deadline is fast approaching for our curbside recycling survey. Please remember to take the survey. We need to hear from you. This is Councilwoman Jamel McKenzie sharing with you updates and letting you know what's going on in Ward 1. Have a great week.
Councilmember Gay?
Oh, yes, thanks, Mayor. I just want to say, I've been up here a long time. I have never seen a report that well put together. So change is in fact good, because these are some very innovative and new ideas from both our council women and mayor. The couple things I want to run through. We have a federal legislative coming, I guess, the next meeting. And I was noticing as I'm in Atlanta almost every day, I was noticing the utility poles and the street lights, like they all look new, like the big metal poles where the traffic light go all the way across the street. And then I was looking at our poles, and we still got the old wooden poles, even on 29 Bill Crane. We got the old wooden poles. And I would just like to look at any federal dollars that could get the city more better infrastructure poles. Well, yeah, we do have one that we got on Virginia Avenue by Jackson Myers. That's an example of what I'm talking about. But if they're federal dollars, when we go to our legislators for earmarks, I'm glad y'all had a great time at National League of Cities. I wish I could have been. I do want to say that I got a report that this body worked so hard through our community enhancement grant, as the Senior Councilman Cohen just said, doing things that we've not done before. And then we had a robust discussion about helping seniors pay for their service line repair. And then there was a question to our legal about the gratuity clause. And I think he articulated that there are many programs, like Fulton County has home programs, state issue program, and it trickles all the way down. But I'm told that when our elected officials in Washington, they went by a vendor and told the vendor that our city was violating or breaking the law. And now that vendor doesn't want to support an initiative we passed. So there'll be a legal review on Wednesday to talk to that vendor. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't expect my elected officials to go and talk to vendors when you're traveling on the city dime and tell our vendors that, that's just not copacetic. And I'm talking about the service line repair. So now we got a vendor that doesn't even want to secure our residents because they were told by elected officials that we were in violation of the law. Can't do that. That's not a leader. That's not cool. City manager, the tree on Vital property that's threatened one of the residents' homes, I think our Vital could handle that. I think easily that could be done. And I just got one or two things. I noticed, Joe, you did a beautiful job on this book. I mean, but I read it, and I saw on the priorities, I don't see Camp Truett. I see finding the Flint, but I don't see Camp Truett as one of the legislative priorities that we've been talking about probably for the last at least 15 years. And now last year, we went up to Washington and we spoke to all of them. So I'm excited that we're getting near. That's a 40-acre nature reserve for recreation, destination, tourism, study of plants. So I'm excited to know that Camp Truett can become a reality. So we want to put it in documents as well. As the outgoing Mayor Pro Tem, I'll have more to say at our next meeting. It's been an honor. It's been more than an honor. And we've actually gotten the stuff done. We got 6 West under contract. Hadn't been done since, 20 years? 30. How many? 30. It's under contract. Excited about it. And I don't want to be negative, but I do want to say an ordinance is a piece of legislation that's enacted by a municipal government. I'm not pleased with the election. I'm very disappointed. But I got to respect the outcome. An ordinance is a piece of legislation that's enacted by a municipal government. If there's an ordinance that says that you're prohibited from doing certain things, if you don't respect that, then why should anybody else respect the ordinance? It needs to be set by example. Like it or not, it's still enacted. And if someone don't want to respect it, then that's not being, that's not cool. That's not cool. And that's what you're feeling. That's what you're feeling. Defiant. So as we move forward, and the last thing I want to say, and I want to say this to the record, Ward 4 loves Councilman Gay, and I love them even more. They love me, all of them. Even some of them that's not in my ward love me. I love them more. So you're going to have a hard time trying to get rid of me. That's my report.
City Manager, I just had one other thing. So we're working on the smaller book for the BIDA event. So we want to add Camp Truett to the tourist attraction projects here on this page. I guess if we add this page in, So Cameron, I want to follow up with you to see where we are with this pamphlet and how it's looking, but we want to add Camp Truett in here as an upcoming tourist attraction.
That'll be for divider, right? The smaller book for divider.
Yeah, but that smaller book is gonna be used for a lot more than that, and it's another tool. We're gonna have an impressive showcase of what we got coming for 2025. So we want to make sure we add that. Anything else?
Right, we need to add our only university, Style Mob University.
Oh, yeah. Okay, absolutely.
The one I was talking about last week.
Absolutely.
Right.
We want to add Cameron, you got this? The university, we want to add that as well. We got Woodward Academy in, but we want to add, we got so much stuff, it's just, we gotta showcase everything we got as much as we can, so, okay.
All right. Do we need to go into executive session? Yeah. All right. Is there a motion?
Motion.
For the purposes of?
Personnel. And litigation.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. All right, that is unanimous. We'll head into executive session.